Well, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I am working on the clutch, actually the throwout bearing, and how it starts and stops, and the adjustment for the cable, which always has been almost right, all used up. So the cable is adjusted all the way down there where it threads into the mount underneath the coil. This is on a 70 Harley-Davidson FLH. If you've been following my channel, which is usually quite haphazard and spur of the moment, I ordered one of these fingers. Now you can see this one's supposed to go from 36 up. So the original one, that's much narrower in there because the rod, I don't know how they do that. Oh yeah, people put it in their hand. Where the rod is larger because you've got that clip and the end of the rod is larger. Where the older ones, like 70 and back and so forth, just kind of are pointy. The rod that separates the clutch plates. So I guess they just make these now, which is fine. Everything, I line these up. I line this one up on top of the old one. Then I put it on the bottom. I looked down in here and everything looked identical. At first it looked like these pads were even a little bit lower, but they weren't. It wouldn't take much to throw that arm, and I don't have a picture of it here, throw the arm closer, further away from the starter. So its arc is like this. You're really pulling on it. It's kind of adjusting the shift linkage. You start with the shift at the top, click, 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 click. Well, here it was starting further away and actually almost running into the top of the tranny. And everything I tried, all kinds of stuff. Now I got a 14¼ inch throwout rod. And I put this in there, and it was pretty much identical. Actually, it was just a hair worse. Of course, it don't take much difference here. Now, this went on to that right there at the bottom. It went on nice and easy. I mean, my other one is snug, but it's original. So, what I decided, because it's not in the cable, I've changed the cables, and I've asked this on like Facebook, Shovelhead for Dummies, all kinds, and most of the people go, your rod's wrong, blah, 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 oh my gosh, which is true. I mean, they're not here working with me, and I understand that. And almost all the rods you can get today have the little, that one actually looks more pointed like mine is, and I've shown that in other videos. Mine has no clip, just goes into the back of the throwout bearing. I've tried different throwout bearings I have. They're all used, but the one I have now rotates the smoothest, even though you can see that this rod at some point had kind of stopped. So you can see some wear marks in the hole, and there's some wear marks where those little fingers touch the part that doesn't spin. Or the backside does spin. Not this backside, but where this goes in. Anyway, you can see right here, you can't on this one so much, but right in here, there was a little bit of rub mark. So it was touching, so it's almost like these pads were worn out. Yet, at least I could measure these pads. I can't get a dimensional of the whole thing, of how big this, this should be. I mean, how it should be in relationship to this. All I can do is compare it with my old one, and this is a new one I just got yesterday. Better turn that off. So, I ended up got a hardened, let's just say, where we go? Let's just say this is a hardened washer. And I think the one I got was from those newer style. I'm not sure. The newer style, where you have the little rotary bearing, and then you have another one of these. Better get my glasses on, lost them here. So, in the end, this went right there now, and that's about that thick. A couple of fingernails thick, let's put it that way. I did have to drill the hole a little bit bigger so it fit over the end of the rod. So it fits actually in that pocket. And I've got one up here to show. Where did I put it? Here it is. So this fits right here now. The fingers then contact that, which bring this back, which actually bring, if this is sitting there, this brings this kind of back, but you can't go back because this is going through the hole in the cover, so it kind of like moves this way. If you get my drift, and like I say, this it was rubbing just on that part in there a little bit, right along here where you see that teeny little mark. That's not from that, but the other one had some wear marks, so it's like it was just pushing down too much into here. It was just, pushing down and starting like this. So now, I'm just, I got to try things. So now, you can see in there, let's see. The arm, get my finger out of the way. Where's that at? Well, the arm is now the correct length away. There, where'd my arm go? There it is. See where the cable is. Okay, see where the arm. Now it's the correct amount from the starter. It's the correct amount of distance from the starter. Actually, it's a little less than ½ inch. And it doesn't bump, and it doesn't bump into the hump there of the tranny anymore. It almost bumped into it. And this adjusted out great, and I left the one in there with the ball bearing. So you touch it after you've loosened that, touch that, touch it, back it off a half, and everything. And it's not, it's starting at the right spot, it's ending at the right spot. That lever in there. So like I say, it's starting at the right spot, ending at the right spot. Ending is anywhere once you disengage the clutches, of course. But, like say in the book, it says starting about half, and mine was 1 inch. And then it would almost bump into that drum right there. Almost bump into that drum. So I knew something was wrong. Like I say, you gotta, when you got something like you're shifting something or you're pulling something, you don't want the cable just to be grunting and stretching. So it's got to start in the right spot, end in the right spot. You don't want it ending over here, so it's like pulling it. So that's just like the shift lever. These, you want it pretty much straight up in the air, so it can shift forward and shift back. You don't want it laid back here, nor do you want it up here. Same principle, as far as I can tell. But now, let's see. If you guys can see. Maybe turn that off. Maybe, I don't know. let's see what I can do. Now you can see I've actually got like 3/4 of an inch of thread. Before, the adjustment was all the way forward. So I don't know why I had to do that. I know I was able to overcome the problem. What actually is the problem? It's not the rod. It's not the adjusting screw. It's not the clutches. They all work great. I got the correct clutch plates in there, that kind of thing. It is actually the whole problem was between the finger placement, where it touches that, how it fits in the rod, and how the rod, the arm on top fits. And those all fit snug, and that is not bent. So, like I say, if I really wanted to take apart, I could try. I got 3 more of those. But I've tried them before when I had the original in there without the washer, and nothing changed. I tried these to see if there's any difference. My other rods are too short because they're for later models. And the rod measures out fine. Where'd you go, rod? There you are. Number 18 measures out. There's about 4 or 5 different lengths. I guess panheads, they were shorter. Then they got longer. Then they got shorter again. Then later years are 2-piece. But, that's what I had to buy and find out was there any difference in this? So there was almost no difference. As a matter of fact, this was just a little bit more worse by a few thousandths, but not much. I think it was because this went under the shaft so easy. So the whole thing was either I was going to put some weld on these, and I seen a guy on YouTube actually do that. He was building a chopper, couldn't figure it out either. I don't know how old his parts were, but he ended up putting a little weld on there. So I just thought I'd try that because the shaft comes out and sticks out about 3/8 of an inch. So this is not going to fall off. There's always tension on it, at least a little bit of tension. There's a lot of tension. It's when you're pulling the clutch in. So, but that washer is not going to fall off. So that is the synopsis of the whole El Problemo, and hopefully the fixo. So I hope that helps somebody, because there really wasn't much on YouTube about the old style, putting in the old style. So this, that you got to stick around, put the shaft in and slide it down there and hold the shaft so there's tension. And then sometimes you do have to reach through the little hole where you pour the oil, and you got to move this back and forth to make sure it's fallen or make sure it is in this pocket. So, it's tricky. You got to use 5 or 6 hands, and thank goodness I have 2 of them. So, well, I'll catch you guys later, and it's I think midweek here. Yeah, it's Wednesday. So you guys, it was a long one, but I wanted to explain it so even that I could actually figure it out myself if I was actually watching this. I hope that came across. Catch you guys later. Let's see. Check out Dagger's Den. He's got a hell of a shovel that you could eat off of it. He has taken a whole year, and that is one really nice looking bike. And there's the other guys like the Silver Nuts and It's My Time, and Sketchy Chopper there, and the bald-headed guy, young fellow out on the East Coast. Doggone it. He sent me that, he sent me this. Sorry, memory ain't what it used to be, but he sent me this so I could stick this on. Thank you very much. You know who you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if I think of it, I will mention him. I've mentioned him before. But I guess the important thing is you shout out to me. Me, I do this for fun. Believe me, I ain't making no money at this. It's not that I don't need to, but I wouldn't know how. So you guys stay safe on the road. It's been kind of mishmash here in northern Indiana. But the corn's up and everything's doing well. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye. Slickhead Customs, that's who it was. I knew it was going to come out of my brain, you know. Thanks, Slick. Bye-bye.